Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today finally to go through some teams that are effective and actually going to streamline your progress in the negative zone. It's been quite a few days since the event started. I believe it was Monday, where everything's really tied back to the Fiery Incarnate Orbs. I've been doing exceptionally well, but now, after experimenting some teams here and there, I finally found consistency in terms of teams that you can actually just slap in there and hit auto to go through all the way, because we know even if you're serious about using some of the best teams, it still takes roughly half an hour or so to actually finish the event. And if you're like me and you're trying to do as well as you can in the leaderboard, we have to be doing this every single day as much as we can for the next week plus here. So hopefully this is able to help you guys. Hopefully some of these teams are allowing you to be able to also just throw them in, hit auto, and go ahead for the victory, and obviously finishing off negative zone. The really good news about this event compared to the previous renditions is that we're actually allowed to use any single character or team combination, as opposed to previously harbinger type of characters. So that would have been including, the vigilante, thunderbolt, accursed, and now we have way more options. Now guys, I just want to drop this as a disclaimer. Keep in mind, I'm an end game player, so obviously some of the best characters in the game are going to be only accessible to those that have finished the highest content, the most competitive content in the game, especially the dark dimension. So without further ado, let's get started. I want to talk about each of the strategies, but as well, guys, in case you're wondering as well, I have made guides all the way from nodes 1 to nodes 8 using the vigilante. So if you just need to play through strategy and you don't have some of these mythic characters, I'll link that below for your guys' reference to help you through it. Starting off with nodes 1 to 7, I still personally would recommend vigilantes if you don't have these characters or teams here. And again, the videos are linked below, but the easy way to get through nodes 1 and 7 is to actually slap in this team that you see on screen. Old Man Logan, Mephisto, Odin, in combination with Null and Super Scroll, you can actually just throw them in and hit auto, and you're going to be able to win. No strategy whatsoever, because their synergies are more than enough, and just a collaboration of some of the most powerful characters are going to allow you to get through. It was nice. It's the weekend, it's busy, I'm just going about my business, but it was great that I can start an attack, hit auto, and by the time I check my phone again, I've already won. So it's really huge. I also want to point out too, for this team anyways, there's some substitutes that you can also synergize with if you're playing seriously and actually targeting some of the enemies strategically. Thanos Endgame, a really good addition here, because he would have the exposure mechanic in addition to Super Scroll, and they would be generating ability energy for characters like Odin, Mephisto, Null. So because all of them being classified as mystic, really good. You can also bring in some other characters that are strong additions, like Shadow King, Apocalypse. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight here. This team that I have on screen was able to auto all the way from 1 to 7. And then I think in node 7, I think either Skrull or Old Man Logan died. Again, I wasn't paying attention because I just simply hit the auto. And guys, again, if you don't have this team, it's okay. I have my videos here for Vigilantes linked below. Node 8 is kind of an exception in its own, because I did use the previous team before, but they just weren't having luck, because in this node, if you guys recall, we're actually up against an enemy Odin. So he's kind of an outlier in itself. This is what the node where I would highly recommend you either pay attention to, maybe if you have a few minutes to actually target, but personally I would actually still recommend Vigilante. They seem to be more effective than the version of this mythic combination here. If you guys have any other DAs that work for yourself, please drop it down in the description below. But for myself anyways, this team was able to get the job done. And again, I do have a video gameplay of how I do this. The key here is making sure that there's a defense down on the Odin when you're able to land Silver Sable's ultimate, and then you can actually take him down in a few turns thanks to the synergy of the Vigilante. I wasn't really having much luck with my mythic team, but maybe there's a better strategy below that you guys have been able to get a hold of. And then guys, last but not least, this is where we're going to wrap up the video as well, but nodes 9 to 12, absolute joke. Now I highly do not recommend the Vigilante and Thunderbolts. They just get completely smashed here. I think the nodes, because they have actually Cosmic Crucible bonuses, they're really meant for the Accursed team. So if you have Accursed, I can't say, I just don't have them built up or invested in, so I can't really verify if they are going to be the intended team here. But for those of you that do have them built up, please drop that down in the description below if it does actually, in the comments below if it actually does work for you. But for myself anyways, I actually used the combination here of Black Knight, Mephisto, Odin, and they gain the benefits here of the synergy here of Captain Britain and Hank Pym. And my goodness, just the buffs that Hank Pym was throwing around with Captain Britain and Odin and Black Knight, the amount of crowd controlling, the sustainability provided by Odin, his raw damage, and the key here really is thanks to Mephisto, because every node that you start with, this dates all the way back from the first 7 nodes too, right? The advantage you get with Mephisto is that he can place exhaust on the first initial wave of enemies, and it's just a significant advantage that your team is able to gain. So that's why Mephisto is probably one of the most important characters to have with some of these synergies here. I would say Odin is another big piece just because of what he brings to the table, his passive attacks, and obviously his devastating ultimate ability that can almost wipe an entire wave by himself. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Crucible bonuses offered here to Captain Britain and Hank Pym. They worked in tandem with each other, providing those buffs to Black Knight and Odin. The only thing I would point out about the nodes 9 to 12 is that on node 11, there is an enemy Mephisto. So just be watchful of that. He's also going to be spawning and using his exhaust on your team. And that's why it's really nice to have Odin to do that cleanse. He's a very, very pivotal piece to getting through and making sure that you hit auto on these nodes. Having said that, if you guys are having issues with nodes 11, I do highly recommend bringing in Null. As you guys know, Null has that ability here, his passive, to actually cancel out empowered states. So that's only if you're struggling with node 11, but otherwise, I was still actually able to get the full node autoable by using this team. It was just definitely a little bit more sluggish on node 11 when I didn't have Null, as opposed to the 5-piece here that can, like I said, you can hit auto on all 4 nodes here and you can get the job done. So yeah, guys, here it is. For the next week plus here, we're still able to do the negative zone, so make sure you take advantage of this. But these are the teams that have been verified and seem to work for myself anyways. And I've been able to test this out a few times now, so that's why I had to take a few days to make this video, but now I feel pretty confident in releasing this. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is able to help you guys get more points in the negative zone, ultimately into that Fiery Incarnate event. And yeah, as you guys progress along, you know, in the future, maybe they can work on something where we don't have to repeat this every single day, but it is what it is, guys. Hope this helps. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.